The SIPS Applied Learning is an alternative route to obtaining your MSIPS designation. It is, as we call it, an applied learning route because it's not based on just theoretical knowledge, but also your ability to apply the learning in the workplace. Ultimately, the applied learning programs lead to the sought after MSIPS professional designation. They're different to the qualifications or academic route that most people are used to because they are delivered by way of interactive workshops, and they're also assessed by practical assignments, okay? The applied learning program addresses several things, and as you can see on your screen right now, we look at addressing challenges that are faced by candidates as within organizations. We confirm the knowledge transfer and the ability for one to actually use that knowledge in the workplace practically. So we're verifying that. And ultimately, we're supporting the organization in developing itself, in developing the procurement function, and also developing the ability of the individual that works in the department. The applied learning has got different levels. We have got the entry level, which is your practitioner, and we work ourselves all the way up to your master practitioner level. Now, most people would start at the practitioner level if you don't go through any form of assessment to determine whether or not you can actually start higher. I think that's one of the main things that distinguishes the applied learning programs from the academic qualifications, is that in order to determine your level of entry, you can actually opt to go through an assessment, and based on the results of the assessment, we can then identify which level you'll be entering on. For the purposes of this particular slide, we're looking at the 3 different levels that are available. So you've got your practitioner, which is the diploma level. If you're familiar with our academic qualifications, you'll know that we have a diploma, an advanced diploma, and a professional diploma, okay? So the practitioner level is the equivalent of the diploma, all right? Then from there, you've got your advanced practitioner. Now, your advanced practitioner is unique in that it's a combination of your advanced and your professional diploma qualifications or academic route. So we've combined the 2 levels and we've formed what is known as the advanced practitioner. Now, as you can see on the slide, this particular program comes out at an honors degree level. So once you've completed the program and you've obtained the MSIPS designation, you will then be recognized globally at an honors degree level, okay? From there, we've then got what's known as the master practitioner. Now, the master practitioner is for individuals who have either already obtained the MSIPS and want to continue their professional development, or it is for individuals who operate in the organization at a very strategic level, don't necessarily work directly in procurement and supply, but need to have an understanding of what the function is doing, where they're headed, and how we as an organization can contribute to that. So these senior managers would then join a master practitioner program to gain that knowledge or understanding. What we've got in front of us now is an overview of how the applied learning programs are basically executed. So initially, you have the skills analysis or your competency assessment, like I mentioned earlier. So we take candidates through a competency assessment, which helps us to determine which level of the program they'll be embarking on, whether the practitioner or the fast track advanced practitioner. And I use the word fast track because you'll recall that I mentioned that it's a combination of the advanced and professional diploma content. Okay, so for an individual who starts at the advanced level, they would then be basically bypassing or skipping, or they'd be exempt from the practitioner level, and they would go directly onto the advanced. So in that way, they would be obtaining the MSIPS designation faster than one who starts at the beginning. Okay, once you've been assessed, you would then attend what's known as an induction session. And at induction, it's basically an introduction. So we're introducing you to the program, to the course. We're giving you an understanding of what you can expect and what will be expected of you throughout the program. So it's just a nice overview and a way of easing you in so that there's no surprises along the way. Okay, so at induction, you get the opportunity to ask the tutor whatever questions you may have with regards to what to expect, you know, what you must bring with you, what prior knowledge you should have, etc. Okay. Once you've completed the induction, you then attend the various modules. Now, this process is the same whether you're starting at the practitioner level or the advanced practitioner level. Okay. So you attend your modules and then you're assessed by way of assignment. These are interactive work-based assignments. Okay. So you're asked the questions in such a way that you have to apply the knowledge as to how you would execute something within the workplace. So it's not just the theoretical, give me an answer to this question, and then you just spin it back to us the way that we taught it to you, but rather you have to think about how this would work practically within your organization or any workplace, and then answer the questions in that way. Okay, so once you've completed the assignments, that is then the end of your journey in terms of the practitioner level. Okay, so with practitioner, you attend your modules, you're given your assignments, you complete them, and then you've successfully completed that program. At that point, you will then obtain what's known as diploma membership. You can then move on to the advanced practitioner program. However, for the colleagues who are on the advanced practitioner program, there's one more step, which is your research project. Okay, now you have to select a topic for your project, right? And the project is similar to a thesis that one would do if they were in a tertiary institution, for instance. So you select a topic, and that topic has to be signed off by the senior management within your organization. Okay, so once the topic is signed off, we then kick off the project itself with a project initiation module, which you'll see on the next slide. Oh, apologies. Let me talk first about the assessment, and then we'll get to how the project is going to work. So on the next slide, as you saw, we've got a competency assessment, which I mentioned. That's step one of our process. The competency assessment is based on the global standard for procurement and supply. Okay, the global standard is basically a body of work that SIPS put together in order for us to determine what global best practice is. The global standard is a body of work that was put together by SIPS, interviewing people from various organizations across various sectors within, the world of procurement and supply. So what we did is we didn't come up with this concept of best practice by, as an individual sitting in an office somewhere who was like, what does best practice mean to me? Instead, we went out, we interviewed several thousand people across the globe, across different continents, different countries, different workplaces. I mentioned both public and private sector and different industries, because best practice is best practice. It can't be based on one person's opinion. And in order for us to put this together, we had to ensure that we covered the full spectrum of people who can actually contribute to this particular line that we use as global best practice. Okay, once we did that, we were then able to identify 11 themes that we would use to assess people against. Now, these 11 themes are basically the areas that one should have an understanding of if they operate in the world of procurement and supply. Now, I need you to understand me clearly. I'm not saying that we all need to be experts in all 11 of these areas. However, we need to have an understanding of all 11 areas. Okay, so when our management or our senior partners walk into the room and they start talking about technology within SCM, or they start talking about sourcing, all of us within the department will have some understanding of what they're referring to, but our expertise in that will depend on our experience over the years, as well as any other prior training that we may have had. So you get assessed against these 11 themes. And if you meet the required benchmark, you would then qualify to go directly onto the advanced practitioner program. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm saying a lot right now, and you probably have a lot of questions. So please feel free to use the chat box that's been provided for you to just, or the Q&A for you to just type a couple of questions in there, and we'll definitely make sure that we answer them at the end of the session. Okay. So now we've completed your assessment and we've determined which level of the program you're going to embark on. And then from there, you will then kick off the program. Okay, now this here is an example of some of the training material that you'll come across once you're on a program. So this is an example of one of the modules from our practitioner program. And there you can see there we're looking at the triple bottom line. So these are the things that are contributing to the profitability of the organization. Now, anybody who is working in procurement and supply, in fact, anybody who's working in an organization should have a general understanding of what contributes to our organization being successful. So you're looking at your profit, your people, your planet. How do they work together? How do they contribute to the ultimate success of the business? And what can I as an individual do to contribute to this positively? And then things like your 5 rights, these are very procurement specific now. These things you will look at also, and you'll be able to better understand how you can apply them within the workplace. Okay. This slide now gives us an example of your modules for your advanced practitioner program. So you'll, for the practitioner, it's very similar. You've got your modules there. So for the advanced program, you would attend your modules. You can see underneath some of the modules, there's then the assignments. So there's the assessment that you would be given. And then from there, you would go through and do your research and submit the content. Now, we encourage you to use as many resources as possible when doing your assignment. So do your research, not only through the internet, but speak with your colleagues, speak with your management, read books, for you to properly understand what is being asked of you and how you can demonstrate your knowledge and, whether or not you're able to apply it in the workplace as well. Okay. Now, as much as we encourage you to do research, we also want to ensure that you're doing your own work. So in this instance, we would then caution one against things like plagiarism. So you're welcome to make reference to your sources for your assignments as well as your projects, but you need to ensure that you highlight exactly where you got that information from so that it's not deemed as plagiarism, because that is something that is highly frowned upon and one can find themselves being asked to basically being removed from the program as a result of plagiarism. So that's something that we always caution our learners against, and we'll always remind you of this. Every time you've got an assignment to submit or while you're busy with your project, we will make mention of this again. Okay, so you go through your modules, and then you can see there that you are then assessed also against the research project. So as you can see, the 10,000 word research project, it's a written project. However, you also have to present the findings of your project to a panel once you've completed it. So you can see that with the advanced level, because it leads directly to the M6 designation, we need to ensure that the individual who goes through this program and ultimately comes out with the M6 designation is able to operate at a strategic level where we as SIPs are proud to give them the designation and they can then put the letters behind their names. But you as an individual also can then, display your abilities to your organization. Okay, so with regards to the research project, you are going to ensure that it's something that is directly related to your organization. It has to derive either a cost saving or a process improvement for the organization, okay? It has to be something that the organization is going to benefit from, and therefore you need to ensure that whatever it is that you're putting in place is going to yield tangible results. Now, with a cost saving, it is what it is. It's a cost saving. But with a process improvement, what we find is that if you improve a process, because you're operating more efficiently, ultimately, there will be a cost saving related to that as well. So you're then able to give feedback to the organization within your presentation to say, this is the outcome of my presentation. This is what I basically did. That was my topic. And this is basically the outcome. And this is what you can then get from there. Okay. So you can see here, as I mentioned, work-based project, and it should have a return on investment for the organization. Now, most organizations are very, very keen on these applied learning programs for that reason. If you go through an academic route of study, you'll find that yes, the individual obtains the knowledge and they are probably able to apply it practically within the workplace, because that is the nature of all of the content or the studies that SIPS provides. However, with the applied learning program, the added research project for the advanced program makes it that much more appealing to organizations, because not only are you able to immediately demonstrate your ability to apply your knowledge, but the organization is then able to see a return on their investment based on the results of that project. Okay, so the slide that we're looking at right now is basically how we then take you through the project. So just like with the modules where you attended with a SIPS approved tutor, you will be given guidance as well for your project. So you're not just thrown in the deep end once you've got a topic and you have to basically sink or swim. You have to basically be able to get guidance from your tutor, but then the tutor is going to give you key points that you need to refer to as you're going through the process of not only putting the project together, but also how to present it. So that's where you then have the workshop day, that's the induction or the project initiation. Okay, so we're initiating the project, we're telling you what it's about, and at that point, you're able to get a good understanding of what is expected of you and what you can expect from the tutor as well. You then have project surgeries. Now, different to the modules, these are now one-on-one sessions for you and the tutor. So with the modules, you are attending with people either from your own organization, if it's an in-company program, or you are attending with people from different organizations if it's a syndicated program. Okay, now these individuals can be from different countries or they can all be from the same country. It really all depends on the mix of people that we get signing up at one given time. Okay, but with the project surgeries, these are now your one-on-one time with the tutor. The tutor is going to look at what you've put together for your project, and at certain milestones, they're then able to guide you as to whether or not you're actually applying the information that you've been given throughout the project accordingly, and whether or not you're on track. So if they find that maybe you're not displaying, the knowledge that you gained throughout the modules, they'll then highlight that, or they'll just give you pointers with regards to that. So once you've gone through the project surgeries, you submit your written project, it gets marked. If you're successful with that, you then present the project to a panel. That panel will consist of an independent assessor from SIPS, an adjudicator, as well as your direct line manager. Now, if there's anybody else from within your organization that you feel should be present at the final presentation, you're welcome to invite them as well. But those would be the three main people who would be in attendance. So you would present the project to them. You would then give the findings of your project, the ultimate outcome. And then from there, you would be able to, you're then given the opportunity, or the panel is given the opportunity to ask you questions. So they pose questions, you present for 20 minutes, they pose questions for about 20 minutes. And then from there, the panel will deliberate. So you're excused from the presentation. They will then deliberate over your results. Those results are then sent on for further adjudication, and then you will be given the final results. So if you successfully pass all of the assignments, you successfully pass the written project, and you successfully pass the presentation, you will then have completed this program. And at that point, you can apply for the MSIPS designation. Now, I want to highlight, that you have to successfully pass all three of these areas. And this is specifically for the advanced program. For the practitioner, you only have assignments that you need to complete. However, for the advanced practitioner, it's your assignments, it's your written project, and it's your presentation. We're not looking at averages in this case. So one can't do phenomenally well on the assignments and on the written project, and then unfortunately not be successful with the presentation. You have to be successful in all three elements, and then you would have successfully completed the program. If for whatever reason you are unsuccessful at any point, maybe on your first assignment or your second assignment or with your written project, or even with the project presentation, you do get the opportunity to resubmit or to represent. However, your marks will then be kept at 50%. Okay, So you can resubmit, and maybe you would have done phenomenally well with your second attempt. Maybe you should have gotten an 87, but because it's a resubmission or a representation, it will be kept at 50%. Okay. So over the years, we've worked with quite a number of organizations who have gone through the applied learning programs. The applied learning, also known as corporate awards, some of you may be familiar with that term. And you can see that the clients that we've worked with are global. They're from different sectors, different industries, okay? So you are going to be in very good company. It's not something that's new. SIPS has been delivering these programs for many years. Some people were not aware of them, and that's part of the reason why we're having these information sessions, to bring that to your attention. A lot of people have been exposed to the academic route, and it's not necessarily for everybody. There are those individuals who don't do well with distance learning or self-study, and prefer to be in a setting where there is a tutor that's going to take them through the content and guide them on the actual studies. And that's what makes the applied learning so appealing to individuals as well. So not only do you get someone who's going to help to push you along, but they're also there to guide you if you've got any questions. You also have your colleagues that you're attending the modules with. So there, once again, we found that in a lot of instances, our different cohorts will form WhatsApp or chat groups where they communicate amongst themselves about topics of interest or even assignments. And as much as we encourage, collaboration and discussions, ultimately, when you're making, when you're submitting your assignments, it has to be your own work. It's individual. There are no group assignments, despite the fact that you're attending modules with people, other individuals. But the assignments or the assessments themselves are all individual. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's quite a bit of information, but I hope that this has made things a little bit clearer to you in terms of the different routes that one can follow to obtain the M6 designation. And one thing that you must also bear in mind is the designation is something that you have to apply for, okay? So yes, the advanced practitioner program ultimately leads to the M6 designation, but it's not just given to you once again. So just like if you had followed the academic route, you would go through the diploma, advanced diploma, professional diploma, and at that point, you would then apply for the M6 designation. The reason for this is you have to provide proof that you've got the necessary work experience to be able to use that title, okay? So as SIPS, we don't just grant the designation to individuals who have obtained theoretical knowledge. We want to ensure that the individuals who go out there and they put these letters behind their names also know how to apply this knowledge in the workplace. So you would submit a portfolio of evidence to the awarding body. It's nothing hectic. It's your detailed CV, as well as your certificate of completion, whether it was the academic route via the professional diploma or the completion of the advanced practitioner applied learning program. They would then assess this, and then based on the number of years of experience that they see in your CV, obviously having verified it, they will then grant you the M6 designation. So it's not another assessment that you have to do, but we just need to verify that to ensure that you do have the relevant working experience to be able to use the designation. Okay. At this point, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Shaila. She's going to speak to one of our candidates who previously went on to the applied learning programs, and she'll give you some information with regards to her experience, etc. Thank you, Shaila.
Thank you, Faustina. Good morning, everyone. I'm Shaila Peters. I'm the Business Development Manager with Faustina, as you heard earlier. So I will be introducing and handing over to Francine Shisala. She's from the Zambia National Commercial Bank. Francine, as well as her team, has joined the program previously. So she will share with us her experience as well as the team's experience on the Advanced Corporate Award program, as well as what the return on investment was for Zanaco as well. Francine, handing over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shaila. Like I've been introduced, my name is Francine Sala, and I'm the head of supply chain management at Zambia National Commercial Bank in Zambia. So in Zambia, we have over 18 banks, and Zanaco is the biggest commercial bank. We do have 60 branches, and we have over 1 million customers, and we are spread across the country. We also do have over 200 ATM machines around the country. I just thought that I give that brief introduction so that people can appreciate the size of the organization at large. So currently, Zanaco, we have the largest lending book, and being head of procurement for such a big organization, it was necessary for us to partner with CIPS to engage in the training program. I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to Zanaco as a bank as a whole, because they are interested in employee personal development, and they are also able to facilitate trainings for members of staff, and partnering with CIPS is an example to show that the efforts that they put in are evidenced to everybody. So Zanaco is the employer of choice, and I'm honored to be able to work for them. So Shaila, you had asked us what our experience was during the learning program. I will start with the challenges that we faced on the program. Like the previous presenter mentioned, this program is very applied, and it's very particular to an organization, and it's very particular to the challenges that you are facing. And you are conducting this training while you are working. And therefore, the biggest challenge we had was on time management. We had to make ourselves available for our company, as well as make ourselves available to attend the lessons, and make ourselves available to write our assignments, and make ourselves available to conduct research and benchmarks with the industry at large. With that challenge being highlighted, I would like to mention the advantages and the joy that we had faced. First and foremost, we were happy that the training program was very practical to Zanaco at large. The challenges that we were discussing, because all of us were coming from Zanaco, so we were sharing similar challenges. So as a tutor was teaching us, it was easy to relate to the training material that we had. And it also gave us an opportunity to dig deeper into the areas of weakness we had, and the tutor able to coach us through to reach a conclusion that members of staff were able to agree with, that conclusion will be beneficial for the overall organization. Also, the tutor was very clear. He was patient, he was very clear, and he was full of knowledge. And most of his examples were able to tell that he had industry practice and experience as well. And so he was well aware and able to marry the academic literature to the actual work experience and the challenges that people experience when you're trying to implement some of these initiatives and strategies and procurement strategies on the ground. So that was very, very helpful to have a tutor that is able to put himself in our shoes and apply responses to our various situations. Also, would like to make mention that the information and the materials we are being taught is of international standards, and would like to say thank you to CIPS. We were privileged to know that we were having information that is latest, and we were having strategies being given to us that would apply in any industry and in any area of work. And it was of a global standard, and that we were very, very grateful for, and we benefited greatly from that. In terms of new insights that we had learned, so first and foremost, we had a little motto where every time before we start our class, we'll be saying we are awesome in procurement. And in as much as the motto, "You're awesome in procurement," may sound so simple, but we carried it along. And as a head of department, I actually use it for all my trainings going forward. It was very motivating because procurement can be very challenging, but that motto was very motivating, and it was very encouraging to our members of staff. They were feeling proud to actually be able to work in procurement. So the tutor had left us with that motto, and I must say I have stolen it for all my meetings. The other insight we had was on critical thinking. We were able to learn that there are so many strategies that can be applied in procurement. But at the end of the day, we have to understand, where are we in the bank? Where are we working? Zanaco has got over 1 million customers, and whatever procurements we are conducting ourselves in are supposed to promote efficiency. They are supposed to meet the customer expectations. For any customer who works within our branches, supply chain, we may be sitting in the background, but we do play a major role in that instance. And also to management, they're expecting savings from the bank, they're expecting efficiencies that are going to contribute to the bottom line. So to have members of staff that weren't basically thinking I have to turn a requisition into a purchase order, but for them to be able to apply their critical thinking and their mind to every particular procurement was good for us. So in terms of the module that we had enjoyed the most, I'm using the word we because I think after our sessions we had a moment of conversation with the team. Our biggest takeaway was on category management. Zanaco being very big, we tried as much as possible to categorize ourselves, but we did not during the lessons, that there were some areas of improvement that we had to do. And we went back to the office and we sat down and we talked about how we can categorize ourselves further. With the international knowledge we had gained, we were able to sensitize external stakeholders from the various divisions that we support. We were able to hold presentations and speak to our management when it comes to category management and the various strategies in place. We were able to demonstrate the importance of supplier relationship management. So it was a breath of fresh air for me as the head of department to have members of staff that are able to carry the message to management even when I'm not there. And also for them to carry for smaller categories, for them to be able to go and make presentations to other stakeholders so confidently, all thanks to this applied learning from CIPS. So yeah, it was very, very beneficial. The other area also was on change management. Procurement, I support function. Basically in Zanaco, we've got 8 divisions. So we support IT, we support operations at large, the various branches that we have, we support them. So any initiative that we try to do and to achieve, basically we cannot do it by ourselves in silos. And through the change management program, we had learned that we need our stakeholders to be part of the process from the beginning, from the word go. And therefore we were able to apply the stakeholder mapping analysis. That one we have picked it on board. And it's very, very practical. We are moving with our stakeholder at all points. It's making implementation of these strategies easier for us because everybody knows the end result, they know the objectives we're trying to achieve, and they know what the problem statement has been. And that is the goal of procurement. You cannot work in silos. We are supporting the various divisions, and for them, their success is our success as well. So it has enhanced our partnership internally as well through the change management module we had learned through CIPS. So those were the biggest takeaways. The last question I was asked was with regards to the project that I had selected and the return on investment. So for me as a head of procurement, I could not look at one area. I went with conducting a thorough assessment of the whole department. And therefore I went with using the McKinsey 7S model, where we looked at the staff members, we looked at the skills, we looked at our structure, we looked at our systems, and trying to benchmark where we are with the industry at large, and also try to make recommendations out of that project, which were practical and they were implementable. I would like to make mention that from a system perspective, we were able to identify our areas of improvement. And we did go live in August, year end of last year. We did go live with our iSupplier modules. We also procured a procurement contract management module, which we have gone live with for central repository of all our contracts and tracking and management from that module. We also went live with the iSourcing. Like I mentioned, our tutor was teaching us about international and global standards. And therefore, we felt that we cannot continue running our procurement in a manual way. Everybody has gone in, and therefore we came back and we made those recommendations, and management was very, very supportive. And we launched those modules. It has been another learning experience, because when you launch a system, there are end users who are the vendors outside who need to go through training. There's management, internal staff members, and ourselves in procurement. That was a big takeaway. In terms of our cost save targets, year on year after the CIPS, when we started tracking our cost saves, I noticed that members of staff within our division were quite hesitant and were not believing that we can actually do more and reduce our costs further. So after the applied learning with CIPS, I was proud to say they were the ones who were coming back to me and saying, you know what, those cost savings you had given us, we were actually able to achieve them. So it was, I was happy. And therefore, last year we closed the year. We had saved 1.1 million kwacha, $1 million in kwacha terms. That is 20.1 million kwacha. Yeah, so the benefits are ongoing. Right now, we are towards the end of the year. We are closing out the year. And my team members are now reviewing their various categories, and we're coming up with strategies of improvement as we begin the following year. So I want to say thank you to CIPS. Thank you for taking us through this program. Thank you for being patient with us and supporting Zanaco as a bank as a whole. I must say I benefited greatly, and my team members benefited greatly, and Zanaco is also enjoying those benefits. And we're looking forward as a bank to further improvements and a stronger relationship between ourselves and CIPS until such a time that we attain the global standard. Thank you so much, Shaila. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francine.
The applied learning was very applicable, and it's very helpful. It's more or less as if you have a consultant, right, working through with you in the problems that you are facing through the 18-month program, because the tutor is available, you have the training materials, they're available on phone, they're available on call. And so there are instances when we would learn something or an initiative or a strategy and we find challenges, and we were able to pick up the phone and call to ask for guidance. So there are those extra added advantages that you get with applied learning that you may not get when you're studying on your own. So our team preferred the applied learning method. I just thought that I bring out that experience from our side.